The year is 1844. America, a nation teeming with idealism and expansion, is also a land riven by deep social and political fissures. Westward expansion fueled dreams of opportunity, but also ignited tensions over slavery, land rights, and the very nature of American identity. In this tumultuous era, religious fervor swept through the nation, sparking new faiths and challenging old orthodoxies. Amidst this backdrop of change and upheaval, a young religious leader named Joseph Smith Jr. captured the imaginations and loyalties of thousands with his message of divine revelation and restored Christian authority. Smith, the founder of the Latter-day Saint movement, commonly known as Mormonism, preached a gospel of ancient scriptures, modern-day prophets, and a divinely ordained mission to build Zion, a beacon of righteousness in a fallen world. However, Smith's message, while attracting fervent believers, also drew scorn, suspicion, and outright hostility. His claims of prophetic authority, his unorthodox theological innovations, and the rapidly growing numbers of his followers aroused deep anxieties among those threatened by this upstart religion. The stage was set for a confrontation that would have tragic consequences for Smith, his fledgling church, and the very fabric of American religious pluralism. Born in 1805 amidst the rolling hills of Vermont, Joseph Smith Jr. entered a world that was on the cusp of significant religious and social transformation. The early 19th century was a time of great change and upheaval in America, with new ideas and movements emerging in response to the rapid expansion and development of the young nation. Joseph Smith Jr. came of age in a time of intense religious revivalism known as the Second Great Awakening. This was a period marked by widespread religious enthusiasm and fervor as people sought to find deeper meaning and connection in their lives. The Second Great Awakening swept across the United States, leaving a profound impact on the religious landscape of the country. This period witnessed an explosion of religious fervor, characterized by emotional preaching, spiritual awakenings, and the proliferation of new religious movements. Revival meetings were held in towns and cities across the nation, drawing large crowds who were eager to experience the intense emotional and spiritual experiences that these gatherings offered. It was in this context of spiritual seeking and religious innovation that Smith claimed to have received a series of divine visions, beginning at the age of 14. These visions, he said, were a direct communication from God, providing him with guidance and insight that would shape the rest of his life. These visions, Smith proclaimed, revealed to him that the true Christian church, established by Jesus Christ, had been lost through centuries of apostasy and corruption. He believed that the original teachings and practices of Christianity had been distorted and that a restoration was necessary to bring back the true faith. He claimed to have been chosen by God to restore this true church, guided by divine revelation and angelic messengers. Smith's visions and revelations provided him with a sense of purpose and mission, driving him to share his message with others and to establish a new religious movement. In 1830, Smith published the Book of Mormon, a sacred text he claimed was translated from ancient golden plates revealed to him by an angel named Moroni. The Book of Mormon told the story of ancient peoples in the Americas and their interactions with God, providing a new scriptural foundation for Smith's followers. The Book of Mormon, alongside the Bible, became the foundational scripture of the newly established Church of Christ, later renamed the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This new church sought to restore the original teachings and practices of Christianity, as revealed to Smith through his visions and revelations. Smith's message, with its emphasis on personal revelation, ancient scripture, and a restoration of primitive Christianity, resonated with many seeking spiritual certainty in a rapidly changing world. His teachings offered a sense of stability and continuity, connecting his followers to a divine plan that spanned the ages. Converts flocked to the fledgling church, drawn by Smith's charisma, the promise of spiritual gifts, and a sense of belonging within a community of believers united by their faith in the restored gospel. The early members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints faced many challenges and hardships, but their faith and dedication to Smith's vision helped them to persevere and to build a strong and enduring religious community. As the church grew, its members began to face increasing persecution and opposition from those who viewed their beliefs and practices with suspicion. In response, Smith and his followers embarked on a series of migrations, seeking a place where they could practice their faith in peace. This journey eventually led them to the western frontier, where they established new settlements and continued to spread their message. Today, the legacy of Joseph Smith and the early Latter-day Saints continues to be felt around the world. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has grown into a global faith community, with millions of members who continue to follow the teachings and principles that Smith established nearly 2 centuries ago. His story remains a powerful testament to the enduring power of faith and the human spirit's quest for meaning and connection. As the Mormon movement gained momentum, its growing numbers and distinctive beliefs increasingly brought them into conflict with their neighbors. The early 19th century was a time of great religious fervor in America, and the Mormons, led by Joseph Smith, were at the heart of this revival. Their unique doctrines and rapid growth set them apart, making them both a curiosity and a target. Persecution, driven by religious prejudice, economic rivalry, and social anxieties, forced the Mormons to flee from one settlement to another, seeking refuge from mob violence and legal harassment. The hostility they faced was not just from individuals, but often had the tacit approval of local authorities, making their plight even more desperate. Each new settlement brought hope, but also the looming threat of renewed violence. In 1839, driven from their homes in Missouri, the Latter-day Saints sought refuge in the swampy banks of the Mississippi River in Illinois. This journey was arduous, marked by suffering and loss, but it also demonstrated the resilience and determination of the Mormon community. They were determined to find a place where they could live in peace and practice their faith without fear of persecution. There they founded the city of Nauvoo, a name derived from a Hebrew word meaning beautiful or pleasant place. Under Joseph Smith's visionary leadership, Nauvoo quickly grew from a desolate swamp into a bustling city. The name itself was a testament to their hope and faith in creating a new beginning. Nauvoo, under Smith's leadership, transformed from a malaria-infested swamp into a thriving city, a testament to the industry and faith of its inhabitants. The city featured impressive buildings, including the Nauvoo Temple, which became a symbol of their devotion and hard work. The transformation of Nauvoo was nothing short of miraculous, showcasing the Mormons' ability to create a vibrant community against all odds. Mormons poured into Nauvoo, seeking sanctuary and the opportunity to build a community founded on their religious principles. The city became a melting pot of diverse backgrounds, united by a common faith and purpose. For many, Nauvoo represented not just a physical refuge, but a spiritual haven where they could freely express their beliefs and build a new life. The city became a beacon of hope for the persecuted saints, a place where they could worship freely and build a society according to their understanding of God's will. Nauvoo's rapid growth and prosperity were a testament to the Mormons' dedication and communal spirit. It was a place where dreams of religious freedom and self-sufficiency could be realized. However, Nauvoo's success and the growing political and economic influence of the Mormons rekindled the flames of suspicion and resentment among their neighbors. The Mormons' ability to organize and their increasing numbers made them a formidable presence, which some locals viewed as a threat to their own power and influence. This tension was exacerbated by the Mormons' distinct religious practices and communal lifestyle. Rumors about Mormon practices, fueled by prejudice and misinformation, painted them as a dangerous and subversive sect, a threat to the social order. These rumors often exaggerated or misrepresented the Mormons' beliefs and practices, creating a climate of fear and hostility. Anti-Mormon propaganda spread quickly, further isolating the community and making them targets of suspicion and violence. The Mormons' practice of polygamy, a doctrine Smith introduced in Nauvoo, further inflamed tensions, confirming the worst fears of their detractors. Polygamy was seen as a radical and immoral practice by many, and its introduction only served to deepen the divide between the Mormons and their neighbors. This controversial practice became a focal point of criticism and a rallying cry for those who opposed the Mormon presence in Illinois. By 1844, the situation in Nauvoo had reached a boiling point. The town, once a beacon of hope for the Mormon community, had become a cauldron of tension and unrest. The combination of religious prejudice, political rivalries, and anxieties over Mormon economic and social clout created a volatile mix. The Mormons, led by their charismatic prophet Joseph Smith, had grown in both numbers and influence, unsettling the established residents and political figures of the region. The spark that ignited the powder keg came in the form of the Nauvoo Expositor, a newspaper established by dissident Mormons and anti-Mormon agitators. This publication aimed to expose what they saw as the corrupt and tyrannical practices of Joseph Smith and his inner circle. The Expositor, in its one and only issue, launched a scathing attack on Joseph Smith, accusing him of tyranny, heresy, and even treason. The paper's editors, former members of the church, felt betrayed by Smith and sought to rally public opinion against him. The newspaper's most inflammatory charge centered on Smith's practice of polygamy, which the Expositor exposed to the wider public. This revelation, previously known only to a select few, shocked the broader community and intensified the already simmering tensions. This revelation, shocking to 19th-century sensibilities, fueled outrage and calls for action against Smith and his followers. The idea of polygamy was abhorrent to many, and the Expositor's exposé provided a rallying point for those who opposed the Mormons. Fearful that the Expositor would incite further violence and derail their efforts to build a peaceful community, the Nauvoo City Council, under Smith's direction, declared the newspaper a public nuisance and ordered its destruction. This decision was made in a tense council meeting, with Smith arguing that the paper's inflammatory content posed a direct threat to the safety and stability of Nauvoo. This act, while perhaps understandable in the context of the time, proved to be a fatal miscalculation. The destruction of the press was seen by many as an overreach of power, a blatant attempt to silence dissent and control the narrative. The destruction of the Expositor, perceived as an attack on freedom of the press, provided Smith's enemies with the ammunition they needed to paint him as a dangerous demagogue, a threat to American democracy itself. The outcry was immediate and widespread, with critics arguing that Smith's actions were a direct assault on one of the fundamental freedoms of the young nation. The stage was set for a final, tragic confrontation. The destruction of the Expositor had not quelled the unrest. Instead, it had fanned the flames of discord, leading to a series of events that would culminate in violence and tragedy. The once hopeful vision of Nauvoo as a peaceful haven was now overshadowed by the looming specter of conflict and retribution.